Hello and welcome. In this episode, I'm going to show you how we can perform PySpark data processing by creating calendar table that includes fiscal quarter, fiscal year, and fiscal period in Fabric Notebook. And this is going to be in continuation of our DP700 exam preparation. So let's get started. I've got this DP700 PySpark workspace created with no fabric item. So I'm going to click on this new item and I want to provision a lakehouse. So I'm going to call this lakehouse sales_LH and I'm going to click on create. And in a matter of seconds, this should be provisioned. Now, we're going to see that we have two sections. We have the tables, and this is where our Delta table resides. And then we have the files where we can ingest raw files. So I'm going to click on this ellipses, and I'm going to create a new subfolder. I'm going to call this one sales data and press enter or create, and this is going to create that subfolder for me. So I'm going to click on that, and then I can use the get data and upload my files. And I'm going to click on this to browse through my location, and I want to bring in the sales 2015 to sales 2020.csv. I'm going to click on upload, and there we go. We can see all the files uploaded. Now I want to perform the data processing by launching a new Fabric notebook. So I'm going to click on this open notebook and I want to create a new notebook. So click on that, and this is going to launch automatically for me. So I'm going to quickly kick off a new standard session for the notebook. So this is sorted, and I'm going to give this a nice name. I'm going to call this on notebook for data processing, and once I'm done with the name, I'm going to make sure I click on enter to commit. So this has been renamed, and I can see my sales LH lakehouse created. This is going to start, and I'm going to wait for some couple of moments. But by the way, I can go on and write my code, and once the session is up and running, I can begin to execute my code. So I'm going to expand this, and as I've mentioned, this is where our Delta table resides. So when I click on this to expand, I can see the sales data subfolder we created, and I can expand this and double click. I can see the sales 2015.csv to sales 2020.csv. So our goal is to read all these files, perform a little data cleaning, and write as a Delta table, and afterwards we're going to create our dim calendar table and select the other date column, perform some transformation by creating the year, month, quarter, fiscal quarter, and so on and so forth. Let's see how we can perform all that data processing. So I'm going to close this, and then I want to create a new cell at the bottom. Now we need to import the necessary functions from the PySpark.𝗂𝗏 So for that, I'm going to use this code from PySpark.𝗂𝗏 So I'm going to be importing the when concat lateral string call to date, subtract year, month, quarter, and day of week functions. So for now, I'm going to wait for this to kick off in order to be able to run this. So let me just create a new cell at the bottom, and I'm going to create a new variable called df equals. So I'm going to use spark.read.option, and for the option inside double quote, I'm going to specify header. Because our data contain headers, I can use the .csv method inside double quote. I'm going to copy the _ABFS path that is pointing to our subfolder where our sales raw CSV files are located. So I'm going to right click on this, and then I can see the option to copy the ABFS path. So I'm going to come right into this double quote and paste, and I can use the display method to display df, and I would love to limit this to maybe just 3 rows. And again, I'm going to wait for this to start in order to be able to run all this code. So once that is sorted, I'm going to need to perform some data cleaning, because once we run this code, we're going to see the order dates and the sales column being treated as string. So I would love to see them being treated as date and integer column. So for that, I'm going to create a new cell at the bottom, and I'm going to do df_clean data and I'm going to do equals, and I'm going to refer back to this df dot, and I can use the width column, and then for the width column I'm going to pass in the name of my column, the order date, and comma, and since we are importing the toDate function, I'm going to do to_date, open the bracket, and I'm going to use the call function that we're also importing, and then inside double quote I'm going to call the name of the column that I want to transform to a proper date column, and I'm going to put in a comma, and then I'm going to specify the format as dd/mmm/. Let me just do this one too, and this is going to be 𝗏𝗏𝗏. So this must be in this format: dd small letter, mmm capital letter, and then the 𝗏𝗏𝗏 should be small letter. So once that is sorted, I can also do the same thing for my sales column. So I can do dots, or let me just do /, press enter, and I'm going to love to align my code. So I'm going to do dot width column again, and then for the dot width column, inside double quote, I'm going to pass in the name of the column which I'm maintaining, dot, and I'm going to use the call to select the column as we do in PySpark, and I can do dot cast. So I'm going to cast that as an integer data type. So this is all I need to do, and I can use the display method. Okay, now the standard session is now up and running. Let me just finish this, and I can do df_clean data. Now let's go ahead and first import all the necessary functions. So I'm going to come here, press Ctrl Enter, and this should execute in a matter of seconds. Afterwards, I'm going to come here, and then we can go ahead and read all our files from the CSV and press Ctrl Enter. So we should be able to see the top 3 records using the limit keyword, and let's see the results. Okay, so as I mentioned, we can see the order date and the sales column are being treated as string, which shouldn't be. Of course, the region subcategory products, these are natural string columns. So based on this data cleaning, I'm going to press Ctrl Enter, and we should see the order date and the sales column being treated as date and integer columns, which is exactly what we are looking for. So while that is going on, I'm going to copy this variable, and there we go. So we can see we have this has been treated as a proper date column, and then we have this as an integer, which is absolutely fantastic. Now I want to create a new cell at the bottom. Now I'm going to paste the df_clean_data, and we're going to use the right dot format, and inside double quotes, this is going to be a delta format, and I can use the mode. So for the mode, we have 4 options: either to append, overwrite, error, or error if exists, or ignore. So we want to overwrite an existing data if it exists. So I'm going to use inside double quote overwrite, and I can use the dot save as method. Now inside double quotes, now I want to save as a delta table. So when I right click on this, I do not have option to copy the 𝗵𝗶 path. So what do I need to do? I'm going to come back to the lakehouse itself, not the notebook, but at the lakehouse level, and I'm going to right click on these tables, and I can see the properties, and I can see the option to copy the 𝗵𝗶 path under the properties. Once I'm done, I'm going to come back here. Let me clear this. Oops, go back here and open this, and okay, cool. So let me scroll down a little bit, and let me just create a cell at the top here, and I'm going to call this one transaction, and inside double quote I'm going to paste and run the code. So you can see the 𝗵𝗶 path is being stored inside this transaction, so I can use that in it. So inside double quote I'm going to type in transaction that we define at the top, and I'm going to press Ctrl Enter to run the code, and in about maybe 1 minute or less, we should have our data written to the table section that is to be written as a delta table. So you can see this is actually running, and I'm going to wait. Okay, so this command executed in 26 seconds. So I'm going to expand, or let me click on this ellipsis and click on refresh, and our delta table is now registered. So there we go, we have the transaction. When I expand, I can see the columns. So this is cool. Now we want to go ahead and create our calendar table. So I'm going to create a new cell at the bottom, and I'm going to copy this intermediate df_plain data. And first I want to define a variable called dim calendar and equals. I'm going to pass this, and I'm going to use the dot select because I just want to select the order date column that is present in this table. So inside double quotes, I'm going to select the order date, and as we're going along, I'm going to be displaying the content. So display method, and I'm going to pass in the dim calendar and press Ctrl Enter to run the code. So this is going to give us the order dates column, which is cool. Now this order date column contains all the duplicate of all the transactions recorded on a daily basis. So I'm going to use the dot distance to give me the unique date value without any duplicate record. So press Ctrl Enter with this distance, and these are the unique records. I want to also order dates from the oldest to the newest date. So I'm going to use the dot order by method and open the brackets, and I'm going to use the call, and I can pass in the same name of the column, order date. And once I'm done, I'm going to press Ctrl Enter to run the code. Okay, now this is now giving me the ascending ordering of the order date column, which is exactly what is needed in order to be able to generate our calendar table in a way that is unique. After we've done this, now we want to extract the year, the month, and so on and so forth. So to do that, I'm going to come in and use the backward slash and press enter. Now I'm going to indent my code. Now once you indent your code, it becomes a lot easier for you to understand what is going on. So I'm going to use the with column method and open the brackets. So first, I'm going to provide a name for the new column. So inside double quotes, I'm going to type in year, and I can use the year function. Now, don't forget, we've already imported the year function as part of the PySpark.𝗀𝗏𝗏. So there should be year and the month. So I'm going to scroll down and just go ahead and perform the code or write the code. So open the brackets, and then I can type in the call, open the brackets, and then I want to extract the year from the order date column, and that's all I need to do. Press Ctrl Enter, and we have the year column extracted, which is cool. Now I'm going to come back here, backward slash, press enter, dot with column. Now we want to extract the month name. So inside double quote, I'm going to type in month. So I'm going to put in a comma. Now we're going to use the date format. So date_format function. Let me see whether this is actually imported into the PySpark. So I'm going to scroll up a little bit. So okay, it's not part of it. So I'm going to just do date format. Yeah, all right. Press Ctrl Enter. Okay, now this is now part of it. So I can use it here now. So date format, and I'm going to just use the call and on top of the order date column, and I'm going to put in a comma now. The format is going to be inside double quote MMMM. 4 M's is going to give us the full month name. 3 M's will give us an abbreviated month name. So let's do 4 M's and press Ctrl Enter. So there we go. So this is giving us the extraction of the month name. Now, when you're performing, let's say, sales by year and month, it is important we also create our month number in order to be able to sort the month name in chronological order. So for that, I'm going to extract the month number column. So I'm going to do backward slash, press enter, dot with column, open the bracket, double quote, month number, and I'm going to put in a comma. So I'm going to use the month function and open the bracket, and then I'm going to use the call, open the bracket on top of the order date. So this is going to deliver 1 to 12, representing January to December, and let's see the result. Cool. So we have 3 for March, 4 for April, and so on and so forth. That is wonderful. So I want to do backward slash again, use the with column. Now we want to extract the day of the week. So for that, I'm going to do double quote day of week, and I'm going to put in a comma, and I can use the date format also. Everything is wrapped. Now this is similar to the format DAX function in Power BI and text functions in Excel. So they're almost the same. So open the brackets, and then as we've done here, I'm going to call the call, which is going to be inside the order date column, and I'm going to put in a comma here. Now this can be a little bit difficult in Fabric Notebook to understand where to specify the other parameters of the date format and some other formats or function that requires more than one argument. But if you're familiar with writing PySpark, you'll probably be able to understand this much better. So inside double quote, I'm going to type in EEE representing DDD in text functions in Excel and also in Power BI. So, but here in PySpark, we have to use EEE, not DDD. So press Ctrl Enter to run the code. We can see we have the day of the week, Monday, Tuesday, and so on and so forth. Now, we also want to create day of week number. So for that, I'm going to do // and press enter and use the dot with column and open the brackets inside double quotes. I'm going to say day of week number. I'm going to use day of week function. Now in the day of week function, I'm going to use the date subtract. And for the date subtract, I'm going to call the call and inside double quotes all the dates. Now, depending on which country you're located, I'm going to assume that our day of week starts from Monday to Sunday, that is 1 to 7. So that's why I'm using the day subtract, and then I'm specifying this one here. So I'm going to press Ctrl Enter. Okay, there's an error, so there's need for // right? Okay, day of the week. Okay, there's need for closing bracket here. Press Ctrl Enter. Okay, so there we go. So we have Monday 1, Friday 5, Sunday 7, and so on and so forth. This is cool. Now I can use // again, press enter and use the with column. Now let's say you want to generate the year and month together. So this is what we do also in Power BI. So I can use this method, put in a comma, and then I can use the date format. And then for the date format, I want to call the call and I want to call the other date and I want to put in a comma. So inside double quote, let's I want to do year, and then I want to do month in an abbreviated fashion. Press Ctrl Enter, and okay, so there's an error. This should be in MMM. Press Ctrl Enter. In capital letter, I can see. So this is going to give us the year and month. That's cool. Now we want to go ahead and focus on computing the fiscal quarter, fiscal year, and the fiscal period, which is really important for this dim calendar table. So I'm going to do // press enter and use the with column. Now, in order to compute the fiscal quarter and the fiscal year, it is important for us to establish the standard quarter. Now, the standard quarter is January to March, representing quarter 1, and up to October, November, December, representing quarter 4. So I'm going to do inside double quotes quarter. We want to establish the standard quarter first, and then we can use the quarter function that we've already imported, and then want to call the call inside double quote on top of the order date. Press Ctrl Enter. Now this is going to give us the standard quarter calculation. Let me scroll a little bit, and there we go. So we have 1 representing January to March, 2nd representing April to June, and so on and so forth. Now, having established that, we can now go ahead and compute the fiscal quarter. So I'm going to do // press enter and use the with column and open the brackets. And I'm going to call this one fiscal quarter. And then for the fiscal quarter, I'm going to put in a comma. Now, for this, we're going to use the when, similar to the if in Excel and in Power BI. So I want to do when and open the bracket twice. When the call, now the column is going to be the quarter we just computed at the top. So when quarter is equal to 1, I'm going to put in a comma. Then I want to return 4. That is the beginning of the fiscal quarter. And I can put in enter and do dot when again. Open the bracket twice. Again, I'm going to call the call when the quarter inside double quotes. When the quarter is equal to 2, then let me just write this nicely. I want to return 1, that is the Q1, and I can press enter, do dot when again, open the bracket twice, call, open the bracket, and then want to call the quarter again. So when this is equal to 3, let me just indent this to make it look nice. So now when the standard quarter is equal to 3, now I want to return 2, that is the fiscal quarter 2, and then we can press enter and use the dot. Otherwise, this is similar to if false in Excel and Power BI. Otherwise, just return 3. So let's look at the code again. When the Q1 is equal to 1, they want to return 4. When standard quota is equal to 2, we want to return 1. When the standard quota is equal to 3, we want to return 2. Otherwise, return 3. Now, I'm going to press Ctrl Enter to run this code, and let's see the results. Amazing. So we have the fiscal quarter calculation, which is nice and easy. Now, I'm going to just close this bracket and get rid of this one here. And I can put in the backward slash, and I'm going to press enter and use the backspace, so dot with. Now inside double quotes, I'm going to call this on fiscal year, and then I'm going to put in a comma. So I can use the when function also, so press enter, so I can say when, open the bracket, the call, that is the regular quarter, the standard quarter, when it is equal to 1, put in a comma, then I want to return the standard year minus 1, and I can do the dot, otherwise just return the call of the standard year. Okay, so I'm going to press Ctrl Enter and let's run the code. Okay, yeah, this worked. Okay, so you can see, so we have the fiscal year 2014, 15, 2014, 15, and so on and so forth. Now, when you look at these numbers clearly, you can see that everything is actually working as the way it should be. So that's basically how we can compute the fiscal year. Now, I'm going to just put the closing bracket here and do a backward slash, press enter. Now, we want to go ahead and compute the fiscal period. So dot with column and inside double quote, I'm going to call this on fiscal period. Now the fiscal period is the combination of fiscal quarter and the fiscal year. So I'm going to come here, put in a comma, and let me just indent this, okay, and this. So for this, we're going to use the concat function that we also imported. So we want to just add or concatenate a label called Q. So I'm going to use the lateral string lit, open the bracket, inside double quote, I'm going to do Q, and then I can put in a comma, and this is going to be the first argument of the concat function. Now the second argument is going to be called, open the bracket, inside double quote, fiscal quarter. So this is going to be like Q either 3, 4, blah blah and so on, and then I want to put in a comma, and I want to use lateral string inlet, open the bracket, because I want to hyphenate the Q4 2014 and so on and so forth. So I use the late, and inside this double quote I'm using this hyphen, and then put in a comma, and then I can use the call again. I can call the fiscal year, and this is what I need to do. Let's press Ctrl Enter and see the result of the code. Okay, amazing. So we can see we have the fiscal period. That's nice and easy. Now we have our calendar table ready, so we can go on and write as a delta table, and then we can see how we can use that in Power BI. So I'm going to quickly get rid of this display method, and I can get rid of this also. I can use the dot right, not with, right, and I'm going to specify the format as inside double quote delta, and I can use the mode. Now the mode is going to be again inside double quote overwrite, and I can use the save as table. Now we want to go ahead and save as a delta table again. I'm going to come back to the lake house, and then I want to call, since I have that already, let me quickly go. I can reuse what I've done here before. So let me just copy this and move that a little bit. So let me just create a cell at the top here. I'm going to call this on dim calendar table. All right. So equals inside double quote. I'm going to paste that. Oops. Okay, let me get rid of this. Control Enter to run the code. So I'm going to copy this, and I can come back to my save as method inside this double quote. I'm going to paste the dim calendar table and press Control Enter to perform the running. Okay, let me see. I think there's an error. Okay, yeah, there's something that is wrong with the code here. date format. Let me see the error at the bottom. Delta, yeah, column schema invalid. Okay, so let me change this. There's something here that's I'm saying, yeah, there shouldn't be any space here. There shouldn't be any space. Control Enter, and that should fix the error. Now, being able to fix error in your PySpark is an important skill that we need to develop. You can see I'm able to cite the error because of the space between this year and the month, and I'm able to fix that easily. So this command executed successfully. I'm going to go ahead and expand this, and I can refresh my table, and then we have the dim calendar table, nice and easy. So I'm going to come back to my lake house, and then I want to close this for now. Okay, so we can see the transaction table as well as the dim calendar table. So this is how we can use Fabric Notebook to perform data processing to create a calendar table that includes fiscal quarter, fiscal year, and fiscal period. I trust you enjoyed this video. If you do, like, comment, share, and follow me for more videos. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.